Your subconscious mind is all powerful. It's at the heart of everything you do and everything that you don't do, everything you have and everything that you don't have. And here is what I know. The greatest tool that we have to influence our subconscious mind is hypnotherapy. Now, your mind only ever wants the best for you. It just wants you to be safe and happy and loved and functioning as a human being. The trouble is, it runs patterns of thought and patterns of behaviour and patterns of feeling based on beliefs that it's picked up throughout your lifetime. And sometimes those beliefs aren't always serving you. Beliefs such as I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, everything has to be perfect. And these kind of beliefs manifest in very many different ways, from anxiety, depression, people pleasing, bad habits, phobias, self-destructive behaviours. And they can also physically manifest as well with chronic illnesses, injuries, pains, and self-destructive behaviours. So over the course of this video, I want to explain to you a little bit about how your mind works and how hypnotherapy can influence your subconscious mind so that you get to live the life that you really want to live, working with your subconscious mind. No more battling your anxiety, no more beating your depression, no more winning the war against your self-destructive behaviours or your illnesses, but getting on side with it, working with your mind and your body to help fully integrate the work that you do so that you can truly go and live a life of ease and joy. So here is what we know that is scientifically proven. We have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is your incredibly grown up, logical, rational mind. It's your thinking brain. It's the one that knows exactly what you want and why you want it and why it's good for you and why you should be doing it. And it's the brain that we like to think that we are. We are this critically thinking adult brain. Now, your subconscious mind, on the other hand, that is your feelings brain. That is the side of you that thinks in feelings and emotions. Your subconscious brain is incredibly literal, and it doesn't have the ability to discriminate and critically think the way that your conscious brain does. It believes exactly what you tell it. It thinks fast, and it doesn't matter if what you tell it makes sense or not. It believes you. And because it doesn't have the ability to discriminate between different topics or to think critically or logically in any way, this means that it can believe more than one thing at any one time. It can believe 2, 3, 4, 5, a million different things are correct all at the same time, because it does not have the capability to go, hang on a minute, the sky cannot be blue and green at the same time. What do you mean? It will just believe you. It's your conscious mind's job to do that, to look at things critically and logically and assess them. Okay, your subconscious brain is very, very illogical, and it thinks in pictures. It's very visual. Sometimes it can think in feelings rather than words and language, but it's very, very much a visual rather than language based critically thinking part of your brain. It doesn't register negatives. I think we are all quite well aware now of the phenomena where if I ask you to absolutely not think of a purple elephant, it's very hard for you not to think of a purple elephant. And the way I like to describe this is to think about when I'm talking to my dogs. Now, there are some very, very cool and clever dogs out there at the moment who will probably be able to prove me wrong on this, and I'm going to have to change this soon. However, if I say to my dogs, no walk today, they do not hear the no. All they hear is walk, and they're like, yes, let's go. So I can say as emphatically as possible to my dogs, no walk today, no walk, no walk. The more I do it, the more I'm reinforcing to them that there's going to be a walk. They do not hear the no. They do not hear the negative. Okay. And now our subconscious brain is exactly the same as that. Exactly the same. So it is visual, it's literal, it's emotive. And it's what we call the storehouse as well. So it has absolutely everything from the second that you appear on this planet. It will see, hear, observe, and it will record all of those things and pop them down into your storehouse. Now, if you have seen the film Inside Out, you will probably be thinking, hey, this sounds familiar. The reason why is because they based that film very much on something called internal family systems hypnotherapy, which is something that I do a lot and I am very, very vocal about as a means of therapy. It is the most phenomenal base of therapy. So if you haven't seen that film, just as a little aside, go watch that film because all of this will make a lot more sense. But your subconscious mind has this storehouse. It sees things and it stores them down into the little storehouse. And everything that you see, this is how men speak to men. This is what you do when you're offered food. This is how you dress when you go here. This is how you behave in these situations. This is how adults speak to children. This is how women speak to women. This is how women speak to men. This is how people in authority behave. All because it's trying to learn how to be a human. It's literally just absorbing all this information from everything that you are surrounded with, your environment, your peers, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you whisper, and I mean everything, gets viewed by your subconscious mind and popped into your storehouse. And from all of those beliefs, it forms all of these patterns of thought and patterns of behavior and patterns of feeling that it runs automatically like that because it's not logical. It doesn't think about whether it's relevant or not in this specific situation. It just goes, I've seen a spider. This is how we act. Boom. Let's get that right out of the storehouse and run that automatic program. And it just goes with it straight away. Now, the thing about that is it's incredibly necessary for us as human beings to have that facility to run those automatic programs. We need to be able to run a lot of automatic programs. Otherwise, we won't be able to function as safe, happy, functioning human beings, which is exactly what we all want, what our subconscious mind wants. We would not have enough hours in the day if we critically thought about every single process that we do. If we thought about exactly how to put our socks on every day, we would have no brain power left to do anything else. I can guarantee you almost everybody who is watching this put their socks on this morning, and while they were doing it, they were thinking about other things. They were thinking about their schedule for the day. They were thinking about what they're going to have for tea. They were planning and organising and setting things out, being strategic, using the logical side of their brain, which they were able to do because these automatic processes were being taken care of automatically. So it's a really amazing, powerful thing that we need to have, and we need to make sure that we can function around. The trouble is, like I said at the beginning, your subconscious mind cannot think critically. It does not have the ability to go, actually, that does not serve me in this situation, or that does not serve me any longer. And unfortunately, it can get the wrong idea about things. It depends on so many different things as you are growing up, but all the things that you are surrounded with are going to get internalized into your storehouse. And sometimes those things will not serve you as you get older, as you move into different environments, as you move through your career, your life. It will not necessarily serve you any longer. Now, this doesn't mean that there is anything that is wrong with you. It literally means that you have picked up and stored beliefs that do not serve you in the capacity, in the way that you wish to live your life right now. And I want to make that extremely clear. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You have just picked up some beliefs that aren't serving you in the way that you want to be served at this moment in your life. So most of us, on the whole, we will have good patterns of thought, good patterns of behavior, and it allows us to go and live our life in the way that we want to live them. And there'll just be maybe a few little things that, we want to work on. Sometimes they have a really big impact and they infiltrate into many areas of our life, holding us back, making us miserable. And for me, I don't think we should live like that. I think we need to have a way of changing those automatic patterns of thought and behavior. And the best way to do that is with somatic hypnotherapy. So all of these things that it watches and learns and stores, they form what we call a blueprint. And this blueprint is how you run your life, how you live your life. And as I just said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you whatsoever. There are no beliefs that are good, bad, right, wrong. None of that whatsoever. They just don't serve you. So one of the single most important things that I want you to realize right now is that there are no such things as good beliefs, bad beliefs, beliefs that are right, beliefs that are wrong. They are simply just thoughts that you have persisted in thinking for so long and so strongly that they become a belief. But you can choose to believe something else. You can change that. So in the same way that your thoughts aren't true, they are just the thoughts that you are thinking, no belief is true either. And yet we completely live our lives by them, running these automatic programs from our blueprint of this is how you behave, this is how you think, this is how you feel, this is how you talk to different people, this is how you respond. This is everything about how you're going to live your life based on these beliefs, which are based on things that are neither good, bad, right, wrong, and are literally just thoughts. So sat between your conscious and your subconscious brain is something in the middle called the critical factor. Now, the best way that I've ever heard this described was during my training, and it was to think of it like a bouncer at a nightclub. Now, you have to remember that the subconscious brain is incredibly important, and the storehouse and all the beliefs and the blueprints that it's formed, they are really important. That is what your subconscious mind has determined are the best ways to keep you safe and happy and loved, and that's all it cares about. So it is going to protect them. So this critical factor has a very important job, and it knows it. It knows it has an important job, and it is not going to deviate for anything. Not for anything, if it can help it. So I want you to imagine, if you will, that I've decided that I want to go into this nightclub. I want to go clubbing. I want to go inside and I want to check it all out. So I go up to the critical factor and I try and get through. And he says to me, you absolutely cannot go through there because you are wearing a green jumper. Okay, so what can I do? I could try and beg, I could plead, please let me through. I really want to go in there. It's so important that I go in there so that I can gain access to do. Doesn't matter, you're wearing a green jumper. I can threaten him, I can hit him, I can try and bribe him with a load of money. It does not matter. His only one solid job that he will not be deviated from in any shape or form is to let you get in there. He's going to protect that, is to protect what is within those walls. He's not going to let you in there, which is why a lot of the time things like popping money in a jar so that you won't smoke doesn't really work. Affirmations, they do work, but it's a bit like standing outside the nightclub and just shouting through the window. Like, it's hit and miss. It's difficult. Willpower. I will win this fight with anxiety. I will. You can't fight with him. He's like, that's so cute. That's adorable. But you're still not coming in to change what's in there. Okay? Because it's so, so important to him. So important to him that he protects what's in there, because that is what keeps you safe and happy and loved. And I know that when you are trying to work through self-destructive behaviours or push past people-pleasing, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, whatever it is that is holding you back, it can feel like it's not your friend. But it is, I promise you, it is. It is doing this to keep you safe and happy and loved. So when you do things like making statements on the conscious level, like, I will win this fight with anxiety, the critical factor is like, oh, that's really cute, but you're still not going in. When you do things like popping money in a jar to reward yourself for every time you do something, again, that's a conscious level thing. All of these things, they do have an impact and they do work, but it takes a really long time. So your critical factor is exactly like that bouncer in a club. So you can make a conscious claim outside like, I am rich. I am rich, and your critical factor will do just what the bouncer just did. It will look at its little clipboard and it will check the storehouse. And if it goes against the list of beliefs that you have in your storehouse, your critical factor will say that one's not allowed in. We can't do that. You cannot come in exactly the same way as the bouncer won't let you in if you're not wearing the right kind of clothes. So one of the reasons that all of this matters is because of the age of both of these things. So your conscious brain is the age that you are. So I'm 44, my conscious brain is 44 years old. Your subconscious brain, however, and the subconscious brain of every single person that you meet over this age is around 6, and it always will be. So when you're dealing with your subconscious brain, it is very much like dealing with a small child. When I heard that alone shifted a lot of things for me. It shifted a lot of beliefs for me. Firstly, knowing that there was this subconscious mind that I was supposed to be trying to manage. And not only that, but it was a 6-year-old child. That explained a lot. And the other reason why it matters is because of how much of both of these things that we are. So even way back when, like when Sigmund Freud was first talking about all of this, who he was not the first, by the way, hypnotherapy goes back a really long way. But Freud was the first one who kind of postulated the amount that we are of our subconscious brains. And he seemed to think that we were about 10% conscious brain to 90% subconscious brain. He was the one who came up with that iceberg theory that I am almost certain that most people have seen at some point. If you haven't, it's worth going to look up. But basically everything below the surface, this big iceberg below, 90% subconscious brain, and the little bit above that you can see that you're aware of is your conscious brain, about 10%. Now, as we've moved along and neuroscience has been doing more and more research, of course, it's still argued about, and I'm pretty sure it always will be, but they have now determined it is highly likely that it is more like 95 to 98% subconscious brain. So we are 95, 98% a 6-year-old child that for the most part has been left to run amok. When I learned that, that knowledge alone solved a lot of things for me. And that is why your brain, even though you can absolutely 100% know what you want to do, what you want to be, how you want to behave, how you want to eat, how you want to sleep, how you want to live, and then you will just turn around and do the exact opposite. And it can be so frustrating, but it is not you self-sabotaging yourself. It's because that your subconscious brain is incredibly fast. It runs that program like that. Before you've even finished thinking to yourself, should I have a biscuit with my cup of tea? You have already started unwrapping that biscuit wrapper because your subconscious brain has gone, when you have a cup of tea, you have a biscuit. That's the belief that's in your brain, and it runs that program instantly. Before you've even finished going, I wasn't going to have biscuits anymore, because you're halfway through the packet. It's an incredibly fast process, and it just runs it so quickly that you genuinely do not realise. This is why it's so difficult to make changes when we're just dealing with willpower alone. Because not only is it so fast, but it is also 95% minimum of who you are. But you can manage your subconscious mind, and you can make changes. You can cross the critical factor and go in there and look at the beliefs that are stored, change them, release them, install new ones. And the way you do this is with hypnotherapy. So if we go back to the analogy with the bouncer, the next time that you want to make a change, you go back to that club. But this time you take somebody like me along with you, because that bouncer really likes me. He really likes me. And I'm willing to give him a flash. While I'm lifting my top up, giving him a flash and distracting him, you get to go in the club. That is exactly what hypnosis does. Your hypnotherapist is basically going to distract your critical factor, which means that you can go in there and regain control over your life, your patterns of thought, your patterns of behavior. And you can make the things that you want to happen. You can change your beliefs. You can reinstall new ones. You can alter them, release them, rewire everything in any way that you choose. Now, some of the main takeaways that I would really hope that you get from this little video is that it is not me or any other hypnotherapist that you go see that is going to make the changes. It is you. We are giving you back control. You are not giving control over to your hypnotherapist. You are taking back control of your own mind and your own patterns of thought and behavior, your own blueprints. All we do is open up that door so that you can get in there and then use various techniques to help guide you and instruct you. But it's you who makes all of those changes. It's your choice. You get to take back control over your life. And that's so powerful to realize. And the other thing to realize about that fact is that it means that no one will make you change or do anything that you do not want to do. So if you are worried about people implanting things in your brain, making you do things you don't want to do, you cannot do that as a hypnotherapist. It is completely impossible because we are not the ones doing anything. We have just opened that door for you to make the changes. Now, there are, as I've just said, multiple techniques and multiple methods, as there are with absolutely anything. So it is really important that you research your hypnotherapist in the ways in which they are trained. We have people who are Ericksonian trained, like me. There's going to be DBT type therapists. I am a somatic based facilitator, so I work from a bottom up process. We work on the feelings and the emotions, which I feel personally tie really well into what the subconscious mind is all about. Then there are lots of different techniques that may or may not be used. When working with me, I will never promise what techniques we're going to do because it is a very responsive process. I am going to be responding on the fly to what is happening inside your subconscious mind. So I may have an idea that we are going to do some timeline therapy or quantum jumping or some internal family systems processing, but it really might change a million times within the same session. So you need to, preferably, if you're looking for a hypnotherapist, find a hypnotherapist who has quite a few different skill sets under their belt, because when they have that, that means that they will be able to work with you in any way that pops up, any way that is going to be necessary to help you do what you need to do. Suggestions and visualization therapy is absolutely brilliant and it does really work, but please try and find a therapist who is trained in multiple advanced techniques. And if you want to know any more about that, hit the follow button, and I will be loading some things up on all the different techniques that I personally know about and any more that I come across as I go about my training.